The September 18th, 2013 Disability Advisory Commission meeting will please come to order. Let's start with roll call. Please signify by saying present. Okay. Commissioner Lewis?
Present.
Commissioner Stutzman?
Present.
Commissioner Kaiser?
Present.
Commissioner Yeager is absent. Please let the record reflect that Commissioner Yeager is absent, but we do have a quorum present. Will everyone please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Current events and reports. Commissioner Stutzman, do you have any report?
I have nothing new at this time.
Commissioner Lewis, any reports?
I just have something small to report. I was very happily honored in May of this year by a charity called Vicky'sCure.org. They helped me out with some health financial things. That was a great surprise. And since then, they asked me to help them with their website and to do some testimonials. And it's just a great nonprofit charity called Vicky's Cure. And I'm actually hoping that next year's golf tournament might be able to be held here in Surprise.
Wonderful.
So I might be bringing some more information about that soon.
Wonderful. Commissioner Kaiser?
Nothing at this time.
I did want to discuss the dial-a-ride, but as we have a gentleman here to discuss dial-a-ride with us, I'm going to hold off on that and ask some questions. All right. Any staff reports?
Yes, we have quite a few things to cover.
Okay.
First off, Mike, you're going to be my handy assistant. The Arizona Bridge to Independent Living was not able to do a presentation before you, but they did provide some literature, so I thought I'd share that with you. A reminder, the Surprise HOA Academy is coming up, and you are slated to present on November 5th. It's a Tuesday, and your time is 6:25 to 6:45, so they've given you 20 minutes to do your presentation. They need to know who the presenter will be, or presenters. So if you can decide who that is, so I can let staff know who to put on the agenda.
I think that was John and myself.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. And I have the PowerPoint updated.
Okay.
We're just waiting for the names of any new commission members.
Okay.
Okay.
So I'll pass that along.
November 5th at what time?
Your presentation is 6:25 to 6:45. Okay, so the next thing, Joe Gladieux has submitted his recreation list, and as of September 5th, Buddy Baseball started. And so let's see what else they got. Buddy Soccer begins November 6th. The Fall Fest costume party and dance is October 26th. There's free family fishing clinic on October 26th, and then there's an inclusive family camp outing at Lake Pleasant November 2nd and 3rd. So that's Joe's latest update. He also wanted me to share with you that CRS several years back had done a ADA self-evaluation of their facilities and had come up with a long list of things for them to look at, and they've been working on the items as they can. And he wanted to share with you that they have completed 2 more of those items on their list. One has to do with the Rangers practice facility parking lot. There wasn't enough accessible parking spaces, so they increased the number of accessible parking spaces from 4 to 6. And there's been temporary signs added for that. And as far as the Royals practice facility parking lot, again, it's not enough parking for accessible parking, and they have, again, increased the accessible parking spaces from 4 to 6 and added temporary signs for that. So they are still working on the list of things. There's quite a bit of things for them to address, so they're not completely yet with their list, but they are working on it. I do have the flyer. I think I sent it to you, but if you don't have it, regarding the upcoming GAIN event that Officer Tovar talked about at last month's meeting, here's information about it. I know Commissioner Lewis has expressed interest in participating. Don't know if any of the rest of you are interested, but if you are, let me know. I've informed Officer Tovar that Commissioner Lewis is planning on attending, so if you know what kind of literature or what your plans are as far as what you want to have there, let me know so that I can work that out with Officer Tovar accordingly. That'd
We
be
do
awesome.
have our banner and our brochures, right?
We do have the banner. It's in your office, right? And brochures, we should. If we don't, I have the template that you created, and I can print out more.
Okay, I guess I will need to update that too with new commission members' names.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so
All right.
another thing. When do you need that by?
The event is
October 25th.
October 25th,
Okay.
so
Anytime.
sometime
Oh, okay.
before October 23rd, because this is on a Saturday.
I'll just go ahead and get both of them to you before the HOA Academy.
Okay. Well, actually, if you could get them to me before the next meeting,
Okay.
DEC meeting.
That's perfect.
Which, by the way, reminds me that your next month's meeting is a week late than its usually scheduled time due to staff problems here. So it will be October 23rd instead of whatever it would normally be. The 16th? Okay. Yeah, so it's a week after. So mark your calendars accordingly. The other thing I have is you had asked at the last meeting to have us follow up on a couple things related to the effective customer service survey that Commissioner Yeager had talked about. And I don't have Ken Lynch here or Jacob, because Jacob's operating the cameras, to come and speak to you before about it, but I did get a reply from Jacob as far as it relates to the thing at the bottom. I guess its technical term is a crawl. That's what they call it. And so he said that previously a crawl has been shown on Surprise 11 for messages of an urgent nature, such as traffic alerts or canceled events on the day of the event. A crawl has never been used for informational purposes during a televised public meeting. Instead of a crawl, it is suggested to place that information as part of the bulletin board, which is shown between programs on Channel 11. This looping video contains information about topics including upcoming council meetings, dial-a-ride, volunteers opportunities, recycling information, and similar information. This is a more appropriate place for the DAC information than a crawl, and is much easier to implement and update. It is also shown several times throughout the day, reaching a wider audience. So that's Jacob's recommendation, as opposed to the crawl doing it that way. As far as the customer service survey, I think we're still trying to figure out how it got on the internet page that John was talking about. There was a link. It appears that was something that was Nanette Bowles had created when she was here, so it was prior to Mike and I. And as far as how long they plan on keeping it on there or the purposes for it, I think we're still investigating that.
Okay.
So hopefully we'll have more about that next month. That's all I have.
No, I'll cover that.
But is that part of the staff?
No, I'll let him cover it. His presentation. We'll have more detail for you during one of the presentations for Dollar Ride. But we did get, Chris Silverman did get direction to staff to order the doors for the library. Dave will be able to tell you exactly where it is in the process as part of his prior to his Dollar Ride presentation.
Let me make sure I heard this correctly. We did get the money?
Yes, it's already been, he'll explain where he
Oh.
is at in the process.
Wonderful. Any other reports?
No.
At this time, we will have the call to the public. Anyone wishing to speak? No? Okay. All right. Now, we're going to move on to the agenda items. Item number 1, discussion and possible approval of nomination of Above and Beyond Award to Digiplex Theater, Mr. Alex Galvez. He's the managing director of the Digiplex. I need a little clarification here first. Now, the nominations for the Above and Beyond Award, can they be made by the general public, or was it just commission members? I don't remember.
Commission members.
That's what I thought.
Last month, it was presented to you by a call to the public, and you all discussed it and thought it would be good to bring it back as an
Right.
agenda item for today.
The reason I ask is former Commissioner Winters was under the impression that even general public could make that, but I did understand that it was a commission.
They can bring it up at the call
Right.
to the public, but you all have to bring it
Right.
forward.
Okay, just wanted to have that clarified. All right. So we did all agree on the nomination, but we didn't vote on it, if I recall. So is there right?
To officially make the nomination.
Absolutely, please. Yes, Commissioner Stutzman.
I would like to approve the nomination for the Above and Beyond Award as presented last meeting. And if we could vote on that?
Okay. Is there a second? Okay. Motion has been made and seconded. All in favor? Go ahead and press your button.
Actually, I'm going to abstain.
Okay. All right. Yes, Commissioners? Oh, aye. And if you can press your button also, please. All right. Yours isn't in there. I don't think yours is working. It's not popping up. That's what I couldn't see. So you're just going to have to grab me today. All right. The motion has been made and carried. Mr. Galvez, would you like to meet us at the front? And if everyone could come down with me to present this award. Commissioner Winters, former Commissioner Winters, is going to be taking some photos, but in a few minutes I'd like to have maybe somebody take a photo with him in it with us. This has been his baby.
Right in the middle, Michelle.
We're very proud to present this. This has been something that we really wanted to have and needed. And
Just look this way. Shake hands. Shake hands. Look this way. Get closer, commissioners. Right here. Happy. Michelle. One more. Shake hands. Look at this way. Okay. Look at each other. Alex and Michelle. There you go. All right, that's good.
He's a professional.
Yes, get one more looking right this way.
Okay.
Everyone here. Happy faces. No grouch. There we go. Great. Good.
All right, thank you. Oh, yes, we do.
Wait,
Michelle?
wait, Michelle. Just take it up there. It's all set. Just look through that. Press the button.
I can do that.
I want you in the middle. And before you take this picture, please join me in congratulating former member Commissioner Winters. He is now our new council member. Yay! District number 1. Mhm.
Yep. There you go.
Hang on my neck, I don't get a picture.
If you just give us a minute,
All right.
You go.
Back up, Alex. Just tip it down a little bit so it doesn't reflect.
Okay.
There you go, tip it down a little bit.
Okay.
Smile.
There's too many empty chairs. Yes, sir.
Well, I'm very honored, and I thank everybody for the award. I know it took quite a bit of time to implement the automatic door and get it installed, but it's there, and I did take recommendations to get the directional signage, so next time you're at the theater, you'll see that there's actual arrows pointing to the door. And again, thank you, and appreciate.
We do have one more question.
Okay.
I believe Commissioner Lewis, did you have a question for Commissioner Galvez? Not at this time? Okay, I think that's it.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Okay, we're going to move on to item number 2. Is Rocky Macy here?
How are you?
How are you? Please join us.
I'm
at
good.
the
What is
podium.
your routine? Do I
Come to the
stand
podium.
here?
Mhm.
Okay.
Does that work for you, sir?
I brought a co-worker with me that I want to introduce. And then I also have materials.
Okay, I can hand them out.
Okay. I am the school liaison at Luke Air Force Base. That's my primary duty. And that means that if there's issues between parents or the schools, I'm the person that mediates.
Can you use the microphone? Because
I'm
it's all going to
sorry.
be televised.
Okay. I assumed that job in July of 2012 when I returned to the United States from a couple of years in Japan. And when I assumed the job, it came with an extra duty, which was the EFMP coordinator. EFMP is a military acronym that means Exceptional Family Member Program. And it's the way it works at Luke is there are 2 units of EFMP. One is at the clinic, and the other is in family services where I work. EFMP in family services has the responsibility of getting out and finding resources for families that have exceptional family members. EFMP at the clinic provides a lot of the medical resources, and then they also are involved with if a person transfers from one base to the other, they have the EFMP records where this person's registered their family member, and they have to check and see if the new base, the receiving base, has the appropriate things to take care of the exceptional family member. So it's a pretty important position. Right now at Luke, we have in excess of 250 families registered with EFMP. So it's a fairly significant population. The way I learned about your group and your activities down here is one of our members uses your facilities quite a lot. And she called me and told me about what was up here. And then she's came to at least one of our family support team meetings and talked about it and brought some materials. And then I guess she told somebody up here about our program, and somebody called me and said, would you like to come up? Anyway, I had that extra duty until this week, and this week they've named a new EFMP coordinator, which thrills me. And that lady's right here, Marjorie Thompson. Come on up and say hi.
Hello, good evening, and thanks for inviting us over. And I'm new to the EFMP position. In fact, I haven't got my official letter when I'll be brought on board, but I happen to work in the center with Rocky, and I've been here since '96. So I'm not new to the Valley. I'm not new to Luke Air Force Base or the Airmen and Family Readiness Center. Prior to that, I did transition assistance and some other employment programs. So I'm kind of looking forward to this new opportunity and the challenge, and to work with some of you and out in the community to kind of find more services for our military families. And so if there's anything that I need, I probably can call in one of you guys. And the same for us if there, because I know we have a lot of families living in the Surprise area. I'm not sure how many of them are EFMP families, but we do have a lot of military families that live in Surprise and support Surprise. And you guys, I know you guys support the base a lot, so. Okay. And I do have some brochures. They're not my name on there, so I can, if you want to just pass these out, but I'll get all that stuff updated, and then we can send you guys the new information. Okay?
I do want to share that I worked for the Family Readiness Group in New Mexico as their website graphic designer.
Okay. Super.
And through the Department of Military Affairs. And I have to say that your program is something so new to me. I don't recall that that was anything that they had there, or it was must have been a very small group, because it never came across my desk.
Yeah.
And so to hear this, I'm just thrilled. If we can work with your group and help you in any way we can. I think I speak for all the commissioners on that, so please don't hesitate to give us a call.
Okay, appreciate that.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. And thanks for inviting us.
Oh, you're welcome. All right.
Some of the materials which we brought also refers to a program called STOMP. And STOMP is the Specialized Training of Military Parents. And it has quite a bit to do with EFMP, with IEPs in the schools and things like that. It trains the parents in how to advocate for themselves. This past spring we had a training on base, a national STOMP training. There's a possibility we may get another one this year. And I can't remember the lady's name that connected us, but anyway, she was involved in that meeting as well, and asked that I bring some materials on that. So all of this is available on the internet. There's also quite a lot about Exceptional Family Member Program as well there. And I really didn't have much of a presentation. You know, if you all have any questions for Marjorie or I, we'd be glad to field them.
Commissioners, any questions?
Okay.
This time? Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you very much.
All right. Item number 3, update by Mr. Dave Colbeck. He's the Assistant Public Works Director, and he's going to be speaking on the Dial-A-Ride program for the city.
Good evening, Madam Chair, members of the Commission. I'm here tonight to give you a presentation and a recap of the fiscal year 13 performance of the Dial-A-Ride program after we changed the operation from a in-house service to a contract service that started October 1 of last year. So with that, I'll get into the presentation, and once I get through it, if you have some questions, I'll try to address those for you. So basically, a quick overcap of the program. We're going to cover the contract service policies that were put in place by Mayor and Council. We're going to recap the ridership statistics. Came up with some observations and recommendations, and then again at the end we'll get into any questions and comments that you may have. So, quick recap here. Dial-A-Ride service is eligible to customers within the City of Surprise. There was a priority established by Mayor and Council for ADA seniors and others with disabilities. And then we do allow specific trips outside of Surprise for medical appointments, life-sustaining purposes, and work. The hours of operation are 7 to 5, Monday through Friday. And again, the fares associated with the service, $1 for any trip inside the city and $1.25 for trips outside of the city. So we've got about four charts that we're going to go over here. They're kind of grouped here by quarter. So the first quarter of operation was October to November, or excuse me, October to December. And as you can see on the chart, we had steady increases over each quarter. We had an 8% increase from the first quarter to the second quarter of operation, and a 23% increase from the second quarter to the third quarter. The key point here is, again, under this contract, we had no denials under the system. The next chart here kind of groups the trips as programmed by the call center discount cab. So we have our medical dialysis trips, which made up about 36% of the trips. We had another 21% associated with work, 9% for shopping, and then 34% in that other category. This next graph reflects the month-over-month trends associated with those trip categories. So you can see we're pretty steady with the shopping trips. We did experience a nice increase in the work trips. We're fairly steady with a slight increase in the medical and dialysis trips, and then a big sharp increase in those other trip categories. And as we dug into that category a little bit more, what we found is it's really these non-ADA leisure trips. So these are trips to the gym, to the library, to the hair salon, to the barber shop, those types of trips that aren't necessarily called out within the program, that they don't get classified into a shopping or a work or a medical trip. So as you can see over the months there, we had a huge increase up to almost 1,000 trips in the month of April, and then kind of backed off again in May and June. So all that being said, that's a kind of a red flag on our radar. So here's kind of a contract summary cost of the program. We had projected about 18,700 trips. We actually performed 21,400 trips. We plan to, in the contract with Valley Metro, plan to spend $300,000. We did spend $291,000. So pretty much hit the target there. The new Freedom Grant monies, we had projected $96,000. We did spend $122,000. And that's directly related to those people using the service that qualify, and that new Freedom Grant money is controlled and monitored by Valley Metro. It is not controlled and monitored by the city. So they just apply, they look at the trips and then apply the funds to get federal reimbursement dollars on that. And then because, again, we had more trips, we had higher fare revenue than projected. Okay. So some observations. Again, we had no trips that were denied. The overall ridership was above our projections. Probably the downside here is that new Freedom Grant monies will run out faster than originally projected. In our original contract, we had two applications, one for 2010 and one for 2012 on the new Freedom Grants that totaled about $209,000. And as you saw in the previous slide there, we spent about $122,000. So that money is going to run out come probably November, December, in which case the cost of the city will go up. However, we have made with Valley Metro a new application for 2013, and we will get an award notification amount. So we expect to be able to get through 2014 without any issues. But we don't know the funding dollar amount yet. Okay. Again, the non-ADA leisure trips were the fastest growing category. And then lastly, really, the program is working very well, but there are some adjustments and some tweaks that we would like to recommend. And so this last slide covers some of those recommendations. And again, these are things that we presented to council last night for their consideration. We'll be getting back with them probably in October, November, probably the first part of November, I'm thinking, so that we can have a more comprehensive discussion and get the feedback for final direction. Again, we'd like them to consider allowing those life-sustaining trips on Saturdays, and those are for those dialysis treatments that generally are 3 times a week, either Monday, Wednesday, Friday, or Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday. So we're asking to expand it to allow those trips on Saturdays. Then we're also asking them, and Valley Metro is asking to consider adopting the regional ADA fare policies. And this is a drive by Valley Metro to start to regionalize the whole transit operations throughout the valley. The next item here is considering non-ADA leisure trips. And again, this would be based on council policy, but as we want to make sure that they have a clear understanding that, if we start enforcing council policy, that there will be denials at some point, absolutely, because we still have to manage within our budget. and then the other option is if you don't want to limit those, we could consider increasing fares for non-ADA leisure trips. And I believe, as I pointed out last night, a typical dial-a-ride trip whole cost without New Freedom grants or any other funds being applied is approximately $20. So that's something on their radar, and they'll be reviewing that. With that, I'll certainly try to entertain any questions and comments from the commission here.
Commissioner Stutzman?
Could you go back to the previous slide? I had 2 questions on your previous slide.
Okay, I'm sorry. Which slide? Oh, boy.
With the recommendations.
I got to get the keyboard here.
One was about the fares that you recommended adopting the fare policy. What is the difference between the fare policy that you're recommending be adopted and the one we have in effect now, if you know?
Okay, so are you talking about the slide here?
Bullet point.
Yes, yeah. Okay. And again, Valley Metro at the board and the commission level there is requesting that all the cities throughout the valley consider adopting ADA fare policies. And ADA fare policies follow the lines of the cost for an ADA fare would be up to the maximum of 2 times whatever the day boarding cost would be for a bus ride. Okay, so if I believe currently a bus trip now it's $2 for a day pass to ride the bus locally. So that would allow or have the cities the ability to charge up to $4 if they so chose. Okay, but right now there's a number of cities that have different fare structures, different fare rates. As Arlene kind of pointed out last night, the East Valley has their program where they have a fare and then they have these zones, and as you go out, they add cost to that, and so there's just so many cities going in so many different directions. So this second bullet is really more driven by Valley Metro and that, but we think it's important enough that it goes on there.
The reasoning behind it made perfect sense. I was more wondering how close Surprise was to what they're pushing us to adopt. So it sounds like we're below it.
Sure.
Anyway, so.
Okay.
And then my other question, if I may, can you give me an example of someone else besides a senior citizen who would fall in a non-ADA category? The people taking these leisure trips that are not ADA.
Well, it's the general public. I mean, the current dial-a-ride program is open to any Surprise resident that is 16 years or older to either go to work, go to get a medical appointment, go shopping, or take a trip to the gym. So those non-ADA leisure categories, when Discount Cab receives that call from the resident, if they're in the database, and if they're not ADA certified, then it's classified as a non-ADA trip.
I didn't realize it was open to the general public. I thought it
Yes.
was just senior citizens, ADA, and persons with other disabilities.
That's the priority ranking. So
Okay.
again,
Excellent.
as budget dollars get tight, we would look to cut the general public or reduce those
Or
general
raise
public trips.
the fares for them.
Right.
Perfect, wonderful. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Any other questions?
Yes, a couple of them. Now, I want to choose my words carefully here because my foster daughter uses the subscription plan with Dial-A-Ride.
Yes.
The concept's incredibly wonderful. The follow-up is not. And every first of the month, she gets forgotten. Somehow the database gets erased and gets started up again. Okay? So she's got Down syndrome. This is her chance to work on her independent skills, to get in the cab and go to work, her work program, and back. Well, when she's not picked up, she's sitting there waiting. We have no call, no anything. And then plus your 20 to whatever minutes window, well, I think that's just a suggestion because, I mean, it's all over the place.
Okay.
And so for us on a subscription, I mean, we were so thrilled to try it. Would love to continue using it because the concept is, like I said, wonderful. And it's such an opportunity for her.
If you
But
could,
and I did call your liaison. Getting calls back from them is not too good. I understand they have a new liaison now as of last week, so it's like,
okay.
but the bugs just really aren't worked out. Yeah.
If you wouldn't mind, if you would maybe give the information to Mike, and I can certainly check into it a little bit more. I have
Be wonderful.
couple of other contacts that I can direct the information to.
Okay.
I'm not
Because I've asked-
promising that it's
because I've asked to
100%
speak to
going to
a
fix it, but
supervisor.
we'll give it our best effort.
Which I've asked to speak to a supervisor, okay?
Right.
But their standard retort, because I've had to call numerous times,
Sure.
is, oh, our liaison, let me transfer you. Well, it rings and rings and rings, and then I think I've only gotten one call back from a liaison.
Yeah.
And at this point, it's just not trustworthy. It's not, it causes her a great deal of stress, and then we have to rearrange schedules at the very last minute, where this should be something that she can count on. This is her going to her work program, and this is a big deal for her.
Absolutely.
So I'll leave the information with Mike, and hopefully you can check into it for me.
Absolutely. Okay.
That would be great. Any other questions, commissioners, on this?
Okay. As long as,
Go ahead.
as
No.
long
Go
as
ahead.
I'm here, I'd like to go ahead and cover item number, I believe, 8.
We do
on
have
the-
a commission question first. Commissioner Lewis?
I'm sorry?
The slide was took down, so I forgot what I was gonna say. Oh, I remember. It said something about the freedom funding allocation will hopefully start again in October. Do you know for sure if that's coming?
I'm not getting the question.
The question is about freedom funding,
Yes. New Freedom Grant funding.
and it run through October.
Yes. Well, the new Freedom Grant funding that's available to us right now, we had $209,000 total. We've spent $122, so that leaves us $80-some thousand for against the trips that as they are taken by the residents. Valley Metro again has applied already for new funding, and the comment from Arlene last night is they're expecting a decision by the committee on how much funding they'll receive and the allocation per jurisdiction. So we've put in and requested, I believe, $156,000 to help offset our Dial-A-Ride program. I'm sure Peoria's put in a bunch of money, and Goodyear. So all cities kind of combined to Valley Metro to put in that New Freedom Grant funding. And again, we'll know the numbers, but not until October. Does that answer your question? Okay.
And you wanted
Okay.
to...
And then,
Yeah, go ahead.
okay, jumping to item number 8, if you'll excuse me. Mr. Yeager, I believe, was at council last week and had requested some automatic doors over at the library. And our facilities division of Public Works has looked into it, and they've actually made the purchase of the equipment already. However, they still need to be able to run power there. And so they're working through the logistics of getting power run to that site so that they can hook up the openers. I would expect that we should be able to have that in the next month to month and a half. And again, it's just a matter of finding the circuit and getting the wires run so that we can make the connection. So I hope that gives you enough of an update.
Thank you.
Okay? Thank you very much.
Oh, thank you. The power doors are just a great treat. Thank you. All right. Now, as we were going to, I think, Rika, you already addressed item number 4, the most effective options. Since Ken Lynch is not able to join us or anything, we will...
Yes, laryngitis.
Okay. Well, we're going to have to table that for the next meeting. And let's see, item number 5, again, pertains to the same thing, the content format, which those are all Ken Lynch's things that were going to be requested. And I think what I'd like to do is go through some of these items first, discussion. And item number 8 can be struck off since we now have funding. There's nothing to discuss. Funding on the sources for automatic library restroom doors was item number 8, which is such great news. Item number 9, if it's all right with you, commissioners, I'd like to move that up to approve the 8/21/13 regular DAC meeting minutes. Has everyone had a chance to review them?
Yes.
Any corrections or additions? Okay. All right. Is there a motion to approve?
I have a question first.
Oh, okay. Yes. Commissioner Stutzman.
Under roll call, my name is spelled Stotz, and it's not that I'm picking on a typo, because it was that way last month too, and I'm just afraid that if somebody pulls them up, they might think that we're 2 different people because it showed up 2 months in a row. So that was the only thing that I noticed.
I'll make that correction. I usually use the previous months as the template.
That's what I
so-
figured.
Sorry.
Commissioner Lewis?
Are we coming back to item number 5, or is that being tabled?
Yes. That was going to be tabled because Ken Lynch isn't here and neither is John. So it should be tabled for the next meeting. Did you
Okay.
have something you wanted to add on that? We can go back to that if you like.
Yes. It was also pertaining to what Rika was saying at the beginning of the meeting about the crawl. And I just want to be more aware of what is happening with the closed captioning. Because I'm bringing up channel 11 on my iPad, nothing. So we're getting this information saying, yes, we have captions. No, we have crawls. No, we don't have that. I want to be aware of what we do have and why it's not showing up. So if we could get some more definitive information of what's actually being shown, that would be helpful.
Rika?
I will check with Jacob, because this is under his purview, and see if he can answer why it's not currently showing up. That's what, if I understand you correctly, that's what you're saying, right? You're currently watching it simultaneously to this meeting, and you're not
Yeah,
seeing.
it's right here, and there's a big
Okay,
with a slash through it.
okay. I think that may be it. The situation, Mike just said that he saw it on the TV. So I think it's through the channel 11 that it comes on as closed captioning, but that's the only way that it is being closed captioned. Satellite it's not an option for folks with satellite. I do know that.
Okay.
And I would guess, based on what you're saying, it's also not available through iPads and things
Which are
of that
delivered
nature.
by
So
satellite,
you'd have
so
to
that
be
would make
physically
sense.
watching it on your TV with cable. But I can confirm that and just let you know next month.
See, this is where my confusion is. Last month, you guys had come out and said, okay, we're going to have captions. So I raced home. When I got home, I went to the Channel 11 website. Couldn't find it. I emailed John. He sent me a link, and it came up on my iPad hours after the meeting. So I don't know where these links are. If I can't find them, how will the general public find them? They don't know it's there.
We'll
Commissioner
check
Stutzman?
with them and find out get a definitive answer for you.
That would be great.
Commissioner Stutzman?
The new video minutes of these meetings, we have them written that we can access, and then also videos. I would guess that the videos are being made from the television broadcast, so the captions would show up on the bottom if it was taped and then saved as a file that you can either watch, and I did see that on our website this week, or to watch online. But to do it live, you won't have that capability without being in. The way that I found the taped minutes of the meetings on the website was under the Disability Commission, and then minutes, there was an archive section for everything that was 2012, and then everything after that you could either have the paper form or watch the video form. But I must say that I did not check it for, but it would make sense that if it was taped from the television, the captioning would show up and would be available as a file, but not available live through any kind of an internet connection.
That makes sense. So, yes, if we can get some clarification on that, would be wonderful. Good point, Michelle. All right. Anything else on this subject? Okay.
No, I just hope if we could put it on the agenda for further discussion next month, just an update on what you hear.
Now, is that something you would want Jacob to
Yes.
come before you to talk again about, or is this discussion amongst yourselves, or?
No, I think that's actually a very good idea, don't you, Commissioner Lewis, to have Jacob actually come here and explain it to us?
Okay.
But I guess we can put that on at the... All right.
Still need a motion.
Oh, we forgot the motion. Oh, I forgot the motion. Is there a motion to approve the minutes with the revisions for Kimberly's name? Just to fix me. Okay. Okay. Okay.
I'll
Motions?
make a motion that we accept the minutes with the revision.
And
I'll second the motion.
all in favor, please say aye.
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 Motion's carried. Okay. Now, let's see. I'd like to go to item number 7, presentation by Commissioner Stutzman, please. And I do see that it is spelled differently in different places, so.
Because you're going to have to operate it for her. Unless she's coming down. Okay.
Okay, what I have put together here is some information to be made available for people that want to get either a handicap license plate or a placard. The placard being the little piece of paper that you hang from your mirror as opposed to the license plate that goes on your car. Okay, the first thing I wanted to talk about is how you qualify for either the plate or the permit. The plates that are available, the traditional handicap plate that you see, and then there's also a disability hearing impaired plate or placard. You have to have a medical diagnosis to qualify. If you're under 18, since you can drive at 16 in Arizona, if you're under 18, you have to have a parent or guardian sign it for you. You can only show a handicap license plate on a vehicle that is titled in your name. So if you're driving a company vehicle, they would have to actually apply for it. Okay, so I'm going to talk about the placards first. That's the little card that you can take out. Maybe you have several vehicles in the family, and depending on which one you're driving, you can take that and put it in a different one and hang it on your rearview mirror. These are issued to a person, so they are issued not to a car or to a VIN number or to a title, but actually to the person who has the disability, also to be used by the person who's driving them if they can't drive themselves. They do expire after a certain amount of time, so I'll have links here of both where to apply for one and where to apply for a renewal if you have one that's coming up for expiration. The links are live here within the program. I'm not sure on this one if it's a double click to access them. There we go. So they will give you the actual form that you need to fill out. Then you just click on the PDF and open it up and print it. Okay, if you have some kind of a temporary disability, say an elderly person falls and maybe fractures a leg or has a knee replacement or something where there's a certain point of time where they would qualify for being able to use the handicap spots, that is going to be good for 6 months, so that's not a permanent thing. If you have some kind of injury that's going to cause you to need it longer than 6 months, you can get an extension on that as well. For the disabled plate, now these are a little bit more permanent. This is an example of what it looks like in Arizona, showing the universal symbol for disability. There is a place on their website, again, the link being here, that for $5, if you lose yours, if it gets damaged to the point where you can't see it and you need a replacement, the replacement fee is $5. These license plates, Arizona license plates, are good. They're honored in every other state. So if you go somewhere else, you can still park in their handicap spots. And then, of course, as an attorney, I have to give you the disclaimer that you can't borrow somebody else's or put it on the card, or if the handicapped person isn't with you, hang it up and use the parking spot. This is just a screenshot of the actual application. Can we go back one? That I showed you the link for. It's a very, very simple application. It's basically just name and address. The most important thing, if you see the center of the form, which is in the lower half of the page on your screen, is the medical certification. That has to be done by your doctor. Some kind of medical provider, usually a nurse practitioner or something in their office is also authorized to fill them out. I have found that the doctors are very aware of this request. Sometimes they even have these application forms at their offices. They will whip them out, sign it off, give it to you to fill out the rest, and then send in. The medical certification, as I just talked about, this gives you a breakdown. If you're not sure, well, do I even qualify for one? There are some different things that maybe you didn't think about, like unable to walk 200 feet without stopping to rest. So somebody who has a heart condition where they can't walk that far would also qualify for this kind of a plate. So this is just going to give you a long list of the things that will actually allow you to qualify for it. The hearing impaired plate, if you're not familiar with them, this is what it looks like in Arizona, which just alerts other drivers to the fact that the person driving the vehicle with this license plate would have a hearing impairment. It's the same application for either one, so you're still going to see that medical certification section that you're going to have to fill it out by your medical provider, and again, the same for if you're under 18. Again, we have the link here, same as the regular license plate. If it's lost or mutilated, it's $5 to replace. Okay, so just a quick review. To obtain the application, you can either download it from the website, you can pick it up at the DMV office, or your actual doctor's office. Especially here, Sun City, Surprise, they have a lot of elderly people who require them, and they tend to just have them in their drawers. So once you actually have the form, you fill it out, you have the doctor fill in what your disability is and sign off on it with a date. Then you can either mail it to the address that is actually on the form, so you can't get it wrong, or you can walk in to the Department of Motor Vehicles and wait in line, and they will actually issue either the plate or the card in exchange for it. And the placard will be mailed to your home. That they'll put that in the mail if you respond into them by mail. If you walk into the DMV, you'll have it immediately. And then just a reminder to be aware that they do expire. Even if you have a permanent disability, the placard or the plate themselves do have expiration dates. So you'll want to make a mental note or put a tick in a file that it's time to renew that, so you're not driving around with one that's been expired. And then I just put the links, kind of different places that you can find the form, the replacement, some questions that were asked: when do I do this, where do I do this, how long is it good for, the hearing impaired application, and then a listing of the different DMVs that are close by that you could go in and get it. And this is the contact information that's listed on the Arizona Department of Transportation's website, where you can get a hold of them if anything on the website or that I gave to you wasn't clear. And that's it. Are there any questions?
This is wonderful. It would make a great brochure handout. So if you could get that to me, feel comfortable with us doing that? Then we can also have a brochure, for example, for game night, etc., with this information.
I have her PowerPoint in my email, so I can just email it.
Does that sound like a good idea, everyone? Commissioner Kaiser?
When we do our minutes, is this PowerPoint embedded in that at all, so that our residents would be able to click those? I mean, I know they just have to go to DMV or MVD, whatever it is called in Arizona, but I was just wondering, can it be embedded within our minutes?
They're not going to be part of the
Can't do that.
minutes.
Okay.
They will be as part of the record for the
Okay.
meeting. I mean, you'll be able to view the meeting and watch the presentation.
Oh, then that's fine.
Because we're videotaping the
Okay.
meetings now, so they could go there.
All right.
What about, could we have it as a link on our page on the website?
Absolutely, yes.
We'll have to ask and see if we can get that accomplished.
Okay, because she's done all the work for us.
I don't see why not.
I would recommend that we print out some of the applications if we're going to an event like the one that you're doing, or if Michelle, the one that you're doing with Officer Tovar, that might be a service that we can do to the public, is actually have the form and hand it to them and say, now just make sure you get your doctor to sign here.
I mean, it sounds pretty self-explanatory, but I've been here and still haven't gotten ours updated. So, and I hate to say it, my husband's a police officer. I should just have been able to ask him. Somehow he's the arms and legs, so he just carries. All righty. Now, we'll wait for you to get... Now, if I haven't missed any other items, give me just a second. Number 6? No, I know we're going back to that. I just wanted to get everything else. The most important item of the evening, I imagine, is it is time for nominations for chair and vice chair. Anyone? I know that John Yeager was interested in the chair position.
Yes, he was.
Mm-hmm.
You
Kimberly?
can nominate anybody on the commission.
Pardon me?
You can nominate anybody on the commission for that position.
Okay, I wasn't sure whether
I'm
as
just
chair I
looking
could
at the
nominate.
bylaws right now. An
Mhm.
election of officers, all it mentions is that each board, committee, or commission shall elect by majority vote a chair and a vice chair annually. So it doesn't say you have to be present or
Right.
present to win or any of that good stuff.
Present. Okay, I know that he wanted to. Yes, Commissioner Kaiser?
But he has said that he would be
He has
interested.
said he would be
in-
interested, yes.
And am I understanding that are you still interested in doing that, or you would rather not do that? Is that appropriate to ask?
I guess that's how you ask. Yeah. No, I think I'm ready for some fresh
Okay,
blood here.
all right.
I would be interested in the vice chair position only if Michelle Lewis is not.
Okay. You guys are easy.
Let me just add that I confirmed with Sherry Aguilar, the city clerk, that this term, because we're a little behind in doing this, will be through the end of this fiscal year, which ends June 30th. So come next July, you'll have to do the elections again.
Okay.
Yes,
And
we're very
I'll diary
late.
it so that we don't run late. So this is not a full year term this time around, but from now on, barring my memory, we should be on track every July to do this.
Okay. Anything else, Commissioner Kaiser?
Nope, that's it.
Commissioner Stutzman?
My question is, was Commissioner Yeager interested in the chair position or only in staying in the vice chair?
No, the chair position.
Oh, he was interested in the chair
Yes,
position.
we did get a chance to
Okay.
speak. Mhm.
Perfect.
So anyone else for the chair position? All in favor for Commissioner Yeager?
Oh, do we need to nominate him?
We do need to nominate him? Okay. Is there a nomination for Commissioner Yeager for the chair position?
I'll nominate Mr. Yeager for the chair position.
Thank you, Commissioner Kaiser. Commissioner Lewis? Is there a second?
Wait,
Oh, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. Before we nominate him, could I ask, is there anyone else that is interested in being the chair besides John? And just asking out of politeness.
I'm sorry, Michelle. I did ask. I'm sorry if I didn't make myself clear. I don't think anyone else showed interest. Are you interested?
I'm not interested in being chair, no.
Okay.
We're very easy.
Okay. Any other questions? Okay, so we have a yes,
We need a second.
we need the second. Mhm.
I second the motion.
The motion has been made and seconded that Commissioner Yeager, in absentia, be nominated for chair. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Motion carries. Okay, now for vice chair. Commissioner Lewis?
I wanted to nominate Chairman Hernandez for the vice chair position.
Is there anyone else interested in the vice chair? No. Okay. All right.
So we need to second it.
Second.
And I just want to make sure I heard clearly. You said Hernandez, right? Is that what Michelle said? Okay. I'll second that.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay, motion carried. And let's congratulate John. Not ready. Yes, Commissioner Stutzman.
Is there in the bylaws a stipulation as to how long someone has to serve on the board before they can be in either one of those positions?
No.
No, it does not. It just, it says each board, committee, or commission shall elect by a majority vote a chair and vice chair annually from among the board, committee, or commission members no later than the second meeting, which this is technically the second meeting of the year, so not too late, unless otherwise expressly provided for in resolution or ordinance, which this is what it is. So we're good.
Commissioner Lewis?
There was one point that I wanted to bring up. Since we have openings for chair members, we need to make sure that we're following the bylaws as far as, I think it says there will be at least three members that are disabled themselves. We weren't operating on that for a short time. So when we're looking for candidates, let's try and keep that in mind.
I did want to mention, now that you bring that up, we do have one applicant that they'll be doing interviews for, board and commission interviews next week.
Yeah.
That Mike will be participating in, and now that you're not chair, I would expect that Chair Yeager
Should be attending.
would be the one attending that.
Right,
so
right.
we'll let him know that he, should expect to be at that interview.
Yes, Ms. Aguilar already had asked me if I would be attending, and I already knew I wasn't going to be upping, so I said we'd let her know who the new chair would be. So.
Yeah, we'll let him know it's next Thursday.
Yeah. Okay. And no, that's why we ask if anybody was interested in any of the positions. There is no time frame. You could be here one day and then whatever. Every member of this commission has been screened by the city and so on and so forth, and their willingness to participate and donate of their time. And just want to thank everyone. I want to thank everyone for being so supportive during my term, and I love y'all, but I'm ready. I'm ready. So anyone else have anything to say on any of this? Commissioner Stutzman?
We just want to thank you for your outstanding service and commitment to the community. Thank you very much for everything you did.
I'm weepy. It's been a while. I thought it was never going to end. Okay. Commissioner Lewis?
Thank you so much for your time. We kind of just threw you into it as soon as you joined the board. I'm just amazed at how well you've done. Thank you so much.
I tell you what, yes, I was late that meeting. That's why I tell you, be careful when you come late during elections or don't show up. But Michelle, truly speaking, I know when you're ready, you've got my total and undivided support to chair this commission. Thank you, everyone. Is there any other business?
Additional
Agenda items?
agenda
Oh,
items.
see.
We don't have to have additional agenda items.
Yeah, we do.
Can I ask what do we already have on for that week?
Well, we have the usual, the minutes, and that's the usual, I guess. Obviously, we want Jacob to come next month, so we'll have that. And maybe Ken Lynch and the two items that you tabled.
Mhm.
So
Okay.
we're looking at 4 or 5 things right now.
Okay.
But that doesn't mean we can't add to it if you have something.
Commissioner Lewis?
I'm sorry, I don't mean to cause confusion, but I understand Jacob is working right now. If he can't physically come to our meeting while it's happening, perhaps he can just give a detailed update of where and how the captions are being shown. I would be satisfied with that.
Okay, well, we'll check with him, and if he isn't available, we'll offer it as part of our staff report.
Thank you. Anything that I'm missing, folks? I got a little teary-eyed here. Really, truly, I have to say this has been a real blessing, and I'm so honored to work with every one of you. I know that some great things have happened over the last year. We have the best staff. Couldn't ask for a better staff.
Well, the staff would like to say that without your leadership, this would have not continued, and that you went through 2 years of trials and tribulations to get here. So we've gone great strides because of your leadership, and it's made a big difference.
Now I'm really going to cry. Well, if there is there any other new business? Any business? Okay, if there are no objections to adjournment, would someone like to make a motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion that we adjourn.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Meeting's adjourned.